Hey YouTube, Michael here. Welcome back to the Edged Opinion. I've spent a lot of time in WhatNot streams, especially in the knife and EDC space. It's a fantastic place to score deals and get access to new or exclusive releases you won't find anywhere else. And during that time, I've seen the good, the bad, and the awkward. If you've ever cringed in a live stream chat or watched a seller's soul leave their body mid-auction, or if you want to get the most out of WhatNot and avoid being that guy, stick around because today we're diving into WhatNot and what not to do on it. Think of this as part Festivus style airing of grievances and part guide to making life better for both buyers and sellers. Let's get into it. If you're new to WhatNot, no worries. Here's the quick rundown. Founded in 2019 in California, WhatNot is a live streaming shopping platform that started with Funko Pops and sneakers. These days it covers everything from comics to collectibles to, you guessed it, knives and EDC gear. It blends the energy of live auctions with swipe to buy e-commerce and the social vibe of live streams. Once your shipping and payment info are set up, buying is as simple as a swipe. It's fast, it's fun, it's frictionless. But as with any platform full of real people and real-time decisions, things can get messy. So let's talk about how to keep it smooth, respectful, and maybe even a little entertaining. Starting with the buyer side of the equation. Item 1 on the buyer's grievances list. When's the givey? Pull the givey! Let's talk giveaways, or givvies as they're often called. Sellers on WhatNot can choose to give away items during their stream. You'll see a little gift icon pop up when one's live. To enter, all you usually have to do is follow the seller. It's free, it's easy, and that's kind of the point. Giveaways help sellers grow their following and keep viewers engaged. Now here's the thing. Giveaways run for a maximum of 5 minutes. That's it. So when people flood the chat with, when's the givey, sometimes over and over, it's unnecessary. If it's up, you'll see it. If it's not, it's not. Chill. And then there's the pull the givey crowd. Folks who want the seller to end the giveaway early. Unless the seller is doing a rapid fire giveaway blitz, asking them to pull it early is bad form. It usually comes from people who aren't buying, aren't regulars, and just want free stuff. Remember, giveaways aren't free for the seller. They provide the item, cover the shipping, print the label, pack it up, get it to the post office, all for $0. So enter the giveaway, relax, hang out, maybe buy something. Don't be a givey goblet. Item number 2, Buyer's Appreciation Giveaways. Let's talk about BGAWs, Buyer's Appreciation Giveaways. These are special giveaways that reward people who've made purchases during a stream. Once a seller creates a BGAW, any buys from that point forward qualify you to enter when it goes live. And usually the prize is a step above the standard follower giveaway. Now if you're tempted to ask, when's the BGAW? Don't. It rubs most sellers the wrong way. What they hear is, when are you ending? I'm not here to engage, I just want a shot at the prize. Most sellers will respond with, at the end of the show, or ignore it entirely. Repeating the question just builds frustration. That said, questions like, is there a buyer's giveaway today? Or, will there be multiple BGAWs? Are totally fair. Those details can vary from show to show, and those questions show interest without implying that you're just waiting to bounce. Asking when the BGAW drops, especially early in the stream, signals impatience at best. At worst, it makes the seller wonder if you're a form filler scheduling your brigades. More on that later. Bottom line, BGAWs are meant to reward engaged buyers. So stay engaged, hang out, support the stream, and let the giveaways come naturally. Item 3, form fillers. Last giveaway topic, I swear. Ever heard the term form filler on WhatNot? It's not exactly a compliment. Here's the deal. You can enter a buyer's appreciation giveaway without actually buying anything, by filling out a form. Let's break down why that exists, why it's legal, and why it still rubs people the wrong way. In the US, sweepstakes laws are strict. To avoid being classified as illegal lotteries or gambling, a giveaway has to eliminate one of 3 elements: prize, chance, or consideration, meaning payment or effort. If all 3 are present, it's a lottery. That's why you always see no purchase necessary in the fine print. WhatNot, like any platform running giveaways, has to offer a free method of entry. That's where the form filler comes in. It's not a loophole, it's compliance. But here's the thing. While it's legal, it's not appreciated. Sellers put in time, energy, and often their own money to build a community and offer cool stuff. Many sellers list $5 to $10 items in their Buy It Now section just to make it easy to support them, which makes you eligible for the buyer's giveaway. So when someone enters a giveaway without buying, even if they're following the rules, it can feel like freeloading. The seller wants to reward a customer, not a drive-by entry. And buyers who did spend money don't love seeing their odds reduced by someone who didn't, never mind should the form filler win. My advice? Don't do it. If you're vibing with the stream, support the seller. Even a small purchase shows you're part of the community. And if you must use the form, be respectful. Don't spam, don't ghost, don't ruin the vibe. And don't be surprised if people get salty when a non-buyer wins. Item 4, complaining about shipping. Let's clear this up. When you buy something online, someone always pays for shipping. Free shipping just means the cost is baked into the price, whether through higher item prices, membership fees, or minimum purchase thresholds. On WhatNot, shipping is grouped automatically during a stream. You might see $5 shipping on the first item you buy, then $3 on the next, and eventually free shipping after a few purchases. That's not a trick, it's just how postage works. The first item covers the base cost, and after that, adding weight is cheaper. If shipping pops back up later, it usually means your box got heavier and crossed the threshold. No one's gaming you, no one's getting cheaper shipping than you. It's not WhatNot and it's not the seller. It's just how the system calculates postage. So before you light up the chat with complaints, take a breath. It's all legit. Item 5, swapping items. I get it. You buy something cool and then 2 minutes later the seller runs the same item in a different color that you like better and now you're wishing you waited. Maybe they'll swap it? Here's the deal. First, does the item you now want cost the same as the item you bought? If not, probably just move on unless it means that much to you. To resolve that cleanly, you need to ask the seller to allow a cancellation and then buy the new one. You can't tip the difference or WhatNot could see it as fee avoidance and ding the seller. But say they do cost the same. Just like in the example, a different colorway of the same product. Before you ask, pause and consider. Do you really need to swap? You like the first one enough to buy it, maybe roll with it. Or grab both, now you've got a backup or a gift. If you still want to swap, ask during the stream, not after. Be clear and quick about it. Hey, can I swap item number 86, the tan CJRB, for a black one? Include the question mark so it highlights yellow. Just know, swaps slow things down. The seller has to track your request when you make it and later make sure fulfillment is done right and ensure their inventory is correct, accounting for the swap. And if there are 300 people in the stream, 300 other viewers are kept waiting while the swap is worked out. So when possible, avoid it. And sellers, help your buyers out. If you've got multiple colorways coming, say so up front. Next up, I've got CJRB Shamalamadoos in tan and black. First, here are the tans. That will head off most swaps before they start. Item 6. Order cancellations and naughty no pays. Most sellers have a no cancellation policy, and for good reasons. If an item had multiple bidders, the seller has lost the sale and a legitimate buyer missed the chance to win. And some people only buy because they wanted the BGAW without the stigma of being a form filler. Neither is great, and the process also affects the seller's inventory and workflow. If your payment fails, and sometimes credit card companies will do fraud alerts and text you to approve the payment, make sure you fix that promptly during the stream. Again, not doing so means the seller could have sold the item to the next highest bidder rather than have a no sale. But there are a few cases where cancellations are expected and reasonable. First, there's the classic fat finger bid. Someone types 2,000 instead of 200 or gets troll bid up to their max. Whether it's a custom bid mistake or a max bid exploit, it's clearly outside market value. And yeah, some tech-savvy trolls might be sniffing out max bids via client-side data. Shady stuff. Second, cancellations happen when a seller agrees to a swap and asks the buyer to cancel the original item. Third, sometimes the seller accidentally runs an item as a $1 go or a buy it now with the wrong price. If the buyer requests a cancellation in that case, it's seen as a kind and community-minded gesture. But here's the key. Buyers must request the cancellation. Sellers only get a limited number they can do from their side before it looks like they're dodging legit sales. And remember, cancellations aren't guaranteed. The seller can say no. So the best policy? Read the item description, pay attention during the stream, and only swipe if you truly intend to buy. Item 7. Seller feedback. Once your order ships, you can leave public feedback for the seller, and yes, it matters. Good feedback helps sellers grow and build trust. But here's a common misstep: rating the item instead of the fulfillment. If the product matches what was shown and is described in the stream, your review should focus on how the seller handled the order, not whether you personally liked the item. And when it comes to ratings, it's harsh but true. Anything less than 5 stars is seen as a problem. There's no nuance in the system. A 4-star review might feel generous, but to the seller it's a ding. So if everything went smoothly, give them the full 5. If something went wrong, be honest, but be fair. Your feedback shapes reputations, so make it count. Item 8, chat spam. We all know that person, the one who sends 5 clip messages instead of one full thought. I've done it too, texting mid-thought for speed. But in a live WhatNot stream with possibly hundreds of viewers, that kind of chat behavior creates noise. If you're trying to talk to the seller, your message might get buried before they even see it, or they might only see a fraction of it. So do everyone a favor. Take a breath, finish your thought, and send one clear message. Use your words. Be specific. If you're not replying to a direct question, make sure your message stands on its own. It's not just polite, it helps the stream run smoother for everyone. Item 9, looky-loos. You've seen it. The seller asks, any requests? And the chat lights up with vague replies like, show me something cool, or what do you got, or red Tontos. That's not helpful. Sellers ask for requests to gauge real buying intent. Some are looking for specific asks from motivated buyers. Others want to know if you're curious but unsure. Maybe you need to see the item or hear the price first. But if your intent isn't clear, it can lead to frustration. Sellers don't want to pull out 5 knives just to get ghosted. So when you respond, be specific. The more detailed, the better. Looking to buy a Spyderco Delica 4 blue. Have any? Price? That's gold. The seller knows what you want and can act fast. Even something like Kubi Titanium 80 to 120 gives them a brand and a budget to work with. Add color like plain titanium, and that's even better. Black or blue, best Techman Cicada's wing. Now we're talking. And if you're not sure, you can still say, looking to spend 30 to 60 on a black button lock. That's enough for the seller to scan their inventory and respond meaningfully. Bottom line is, vague requests waste time. Clear intent builds better streams and better buys. Item 10, side seat price comping and haggling. You're in a stream. The seller shows a knife and names a price. Then someone in the chat blurts out, that's 30 more than insert website. Here's the problem. They're often comparing apples to oranges. Maybe the site lists a satin blade with G10 handles while the seller is showing a Damascus blade with titanium scales. It's common for manufacturers to offer a range of variants of a given model with different price points, and it's easy to accidentally check the wrong one, especially when done quickly off the cuff. Sure, sometimes sellers get it wrong. Maybe they're quoting outdated info or the item's on special somewhere. But you can't expect them to track every sale across every site. It's better to stay quiet than to disrupt the chat or spread misinformation. If you see a better price elsewhere, great. You're welcome to buy it there if you want. And if a seller consistently overstates comps, that's a signal to find a different stream. But don't be the side seat price cop. And that's something for sellers to be aware of. If your price comps are consistently bad or wrong, you will eventually break trust with your potential buyers and they will assume they can't trust your quoted comps, and they'll decide for themselves what fair market value is. Don't lie or exaggerate. Related, most sellers don't want to haggle. In a busy stream, opening that door slows everything down. If you've ever browsed a certain social media marketplace, you've seen a flood of, is this still available? Followed by lowball offers, even when the seller clearly states their minimum. If the seller wants offers, they'll ask the chat. The closest most sellers accept is something like, what's your ask on product? That shows intent to buy, and they'll usually quote you their best price or close to it. If it's not for you, that's fine, but unsolicited haggling, even if your offer is reasonable, rarely goes over well. Bonus item 11. Do you have another? Here's a classic stream moment. A seller dollar starts a knife with a retail of $89, usually sells for $69 online, but the WhatNot auction closes at $40. Great deal, right? Then someone in the chat pipes up, do you have another? That question hits wrong. The seller, and probably a few folks in the chat, are thinking, if you wanted it, why didn't you swipe when it was going for a steal? What it signals is, I'm only interested if you're losing money. And if the seller does have another, you might hear, not for that price, but I can run you one for $65. 9 times out of 10, the person doesn't bite. Look, everyone loves a deal, but asking for a repeat right after a lowball close comes off as opportunistic. It undervalues the seller's time, effort, and inventory, and it's not a good look. If you missed it, that's okay, but don't chase the same deal unless you're ready to pay fair. Respect the stream, respect the sale, and if you want another, be ready to buy, not bargain hunt. Let's flip the script and talk about sellers. What not to do on WhatNot as a seller. Seller's item number 1. Sell something. As a buyer, I've joined streams where nothing's been shown for minutes. No items, no auctions, just waiting. Now sometimes there's a natural pause for education, conversation, or setup. That's fine, but other times it's just a lull. And even when I want to support the seller, there are other shows I could be watching, other things I could be doing. Buyers come to WhatNot for a few things, but among them, to buy, to learn, or to be entertained. If you're not selling, you better be delivering value in one of the other two. Otherwise, you're burning time and viewers. So sellers, start strong, show something, run an auction, engage the chat. Give people a reason to stay. Because if you're not selling, you're not streaming, you're stalling. Seller's item 2. Your audio is terrible and I hate everything. Okay, the title's a bit dramatic, but audio issues are the bane of a good stream. There are a few things that can absolutely wreck the vibe of your show. Let's break them down. Dead air. No music, no talking, just silence. Maybe you're setting up, maybe you're distracted, but long stretches of nothing, brutal. People will leave. Music clipping in and out. Music can keep energy up and give viewers something to vibe with. But if you're relying on your mic to pick up music from your room, and the music is too quiet or your noise canceling mic keeps cutting it, it's worse than silence. It's distracting and annoying. Next, music drowning out your voice. If your music's too loud and we can only hear you when you shout or not at all, we might as well mute the stream and play our own playlist. Keep music at 10 to 30% volume or turn up your mic. Balance matters. Next is clipping audio. If your mic or music mix is too hot and starts clipping, it's painful. Literally. I get that loud streams can grab attention, but they're terrible for retention. Some buyers will bounce. Some sellers will too. Turn down those levels or reduce that gain. Bottom line, audio makes or breaks your stream. If it's bad, people won't stick around, no matter how good your deals are. So test your setup, balance your mix, and don't make us stab our ears. Please and thank you. Seller's item number 3. Read the chat. This one's mostly for newer sellers, and it's an easy fix that can make a big difference. Running a stream is stressful. You're juggling inventory, pacing, tech, and presentation. But you've got to keep at least one eye on the chat. That's where the action is. That's where buyers ask questions, request reruns, and engage with your show. Using a PC helps. The chat window is bigger, easier to follow, and less likely to scroll past something important. I've seen sellers miss a buyer asking to rerun an unsold item because they've decided to buy, but the seller's already moved on, or miss a question that several people in the chat are trying to get answered. This is what makes WhatNot different from a traditional auction. It's interactive. Buyers expect engagement. So even if you're solo and multitasking, build in moments to scan the chat. You don't have to catch everything, but missing key messages can cost you sales and frustrate your audience. Bottom line, read the room, read the chat, and treat it like part of the show, because it is. Seller's item number 4, forever cooked. I got cooked on that. You'll hear it a lot on WhatNot, and sometimes sure, but also not always. Psychologically, it makes sense. Buyers feel good thinking they scored a deal, or they feel bad and might bid higher next time or toss a tip. But constantly saying you got cooked, it's not a great habit. Eventually, buyers get tired of hearing it, especially when it's paired with begging for bids. And in some cases, like wheel games or bundle deals, you do the math and realize the seller is bringing in more than enough to cover everything, including the grand prizes, with a surprisingly large amount of profit left to spare. That's not getting cooked, that's cooking your buyers. Look, sometimes items do go low. Demand fluctuates, dollar starting adds excitement, but it's a risk. If you're willing to take that risk and sell at a loss to move inventory, don't complain when it happens. And if you're not, set a reasonable minimum and protect your margins. Bottom line, letting chat know when an item has gone low is fine, but if almost everything is, I got cooked, you need to change it up. And with that, we've come to the end of the list. I hope you've enjoyed this video on WhatNot Picadillos, and maybe picked up a few tips along the way so we can all be better buyers and sellers. At the end of the day, a little empathy and consideration for the humans on the other side of the screen goes a long way. Now it's your turn. What are your biggest grievances? Did I miss something that really grinds your gears? Drop it in the comments. Let's air those grievances together. And hey, if you like this video, go ahead and do that whole like and subscribe thing. I've got more content coming your way, right here on The Edged Opinion. Until next time, stay sharp, stay opinionated, and keep slicing through the noise.